In Investing 101 today, why it's critical to know if you are a conservative, moderate, or aggressive investor. Here's Steve Ruxton.
In Investing 101, we're going to talk about how much risk you should take in your portfolio. Maybe you don't even know how much risk you should take in your portfolio. We're going to find out. With me, Chris Everett. She is president of Everett Wealth Solutions. Chris, good to have you on the show here.
Thanks for having me, Steve.
Let's start at the start before we get into conservative, aggressive investing and things like that. How do you take your own temperature and find out how much risk you should take on in your portfolio?
What a great question. You know, I find that the clients that I work with often think they have to take more risk than it's really necessary. And so by really having them kind of open up their financial kimono, I can begin to look at not only what their income stream is and how much they can still save, what their assets are, take some kind of conservative allocation going forward to see where the assets are going to go, make sure they do a deep dive on their expenses, the starting points, the ending points, and then we can see the return that we really need. You know, you have to add in things like Social Security and pensions and whatever to really put a clear picture in place. But at the end of the day, most find, surprisingly enough, they might even be able to retire earlier than they thought. That's pretty crazy.
That's good news.
So yeah, so it's really taking a look at what's required. So if you might come in thinking you need 8 or 10%, you might find out you only need 6.
Okay, let's talk about a conservative investor, though, that supposedly wants to sleep at night. They've been seeing what's going on in the markets. They're like, oh boy, what do you recommend?
Great question. You know, it depends. Everyone has a different flavor. If you are uber conservative, but you still want returns, right? We want our cake and eat it too. You might consider
inflation.
Add all that. Oh, please. You might even consider an indexed annuity. Now, I say the word annuity, you're thinking positive or negative, whoever you are. But to me, that's like saying food. You like some food, you hate some food. Not all annuities are good. Some of them are crazy expensive, and I wouldn't go near them with a 10-foot pole, neither would FINRA. You might consider an indexed annuity as a possibility for you, at least for a portion of your money. Because with those, you can never lose money. All you can do is go up and add money to your principal. If the market goes down, you stay still. You never have to dig out of a hole.
Conservative investors reaching for yield because interest rates are so low right now. What do you recommend? Because you could buy junk bonds, you could do all kinds of things that can definitely keep you up at night.
Right. And so for an investor that doesn't want the volatility of the bond market, why not an annuity? I know I said it twice. But at least you're going to get a rate that's higher than a CD on a money market. You're going to get deferral if it's non-qualified money. So it's something to consider. It's not for all of your money, but it's an option to consider.
Okay. Aggressive investor, as you talked about annuities, what about variable annuities?
I don't like them. Neither does FINRA. You can go on their website. The reason I don't like them is because they're crazy expensive. If your return over a 20-year period of time is 6 or 7% on average, and you have to pay 3 or 4% of that in fees, does that make sense? I think finding the right money manager, if you can tolerate having a money manager and you're not a do-it-yourselfer, finding the right manager that understands downside risk, having them show you what the drawdown is on the portfolio and on those holdings that you have. Because at the end of the day, if you don't see that stuff and the market goes south on you and you lose more money than you thought, frankly, I think that's your own fault. So your money manager should really be showing you what the drawdown is. The other thing to consider, possibly trail stops. What if you are running your own portfolio? When you take a stock and you wrap a percentage trail stop around it, my favorite kind, all that does is kind of walk with the stock up or down. And you set the parameter for when you want to trade out of it and you want it to sell. So if you think, according to the Sweden study, if you run a 15 to 20% trail stop on that holding and the market's going up nicely, you're not going to trade out. You're following.
Okay.
As soon as the market goes down 15%, if you set it at 15%, it'll trade out.
Chris, I wish we had more time. We got to leave it at that. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
For more Business First AM, check us out on social media. We're on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. And go to businessfirstam.com for where to see our show on TV.